Hi, my name is AliRF, and this is a tutorial on how to use StoryMapJS. StoryMapJS is a free online program that combines traditional text-based and media-based presentation techniques along with the use of geographical information to essentially tell a story. So let's get started. Go to your favorite search engine and type in StoryMapJS or type in storymap.nightlab.com. And this is the first screen you're going to see. We've got some story maps here already been made, along with some tips, tricks, and some guides on how to handle large media files. But for this tutorial, let's make a story map together. Click on Make a Story Map, and you'll be presented with an opportunity to use a Google account to log in. I've already done so, and all of your story maps after that will be right here on this screen. But let's make a new one. Now we need a topic. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to choose something pretty simple. Something like, say, Thomas Jefferson Life Highlights. Click on Create, and we're going to see a couple sections. Right here is a big map which is going to house all of our geographical information. Right here we have our text section, which is our headline text, our body texts, and on the bottom left we have our media section where we can import media from online or from our computer files. And this bar right here is going to show us all of our slide counts. But first, let's start with a heading. I'm going to put Thomas Jefferson Life Highlights. I'm going to put some author information as my body text. You can put any kind of text you want, but this is our cover page and this is a tutorial. I'm going to keep it short and simple so you guys can learn the tools present and available for you to use, but you can still understand how our story map is going to look in the end. Now I need a picture. So I'm going to go online, type in a picture of Thomas Jefferson. And let's see. This one here from News Target is pretty good. Now when you see an image you like, right click, open the image in a new tab, and you're going to want to copy the URL because when you import this image from online, you're going to paste the URL into this bar right here, and when you click out of it, there's your image. Now, it's always important to give appropriate credit to whatever media or information you use. This picture came from newstarget.com. I'm going to include that as my credits. And as a caption, portrait of Washington. Oops, almost mistook him for George Washington there. Portrait of Jefferson. Okay. So this is our cover page, all done. Now we're going to add a slide right here. Now let's see what we're going to put for our second headline. How about his birth? Now we're going to need some information on that. Something like, where was he born? Let's see here. Birth location. Shadwell. Shadwell, I believe, is a region in Virginia. So let's see. Born in Shadwell, Virginia. Yeah, Virginia, United States. Okay, so this is where we're going to learn how to use the geographical part of StoryMap. Let's go to this bar right here and type in Shadwell, Virginia, and right there. This is one of the coolest features of StoryMap, including geographical information with our current presentation. So now, attached to this slide is going to be this location on a map, Shadwell, Virginia. Now, let's move forward and include a picture of Shadwell, Virginia, or appropriate kind of media. Let's see. This one's pretty good from Wikipedia. Again, open the image in a new tab, copy the URL, paste it, click out. There's our picture. It's kind of big, but it's going to load in just fine. Credit, Wikipedia. And you can put any kind of caption you want for your digital media, but I'm just going to keep it basic for now. And let's add another slide. Let's see, how about another important thing in his life? Education. Where did Thomas Jefferson go to school? Where did Thomas Jefferson go to school? College of William and Mary. Now, we can go back to StoryMap, type that information in, and now let's look that up on the geographical part. Let's see, College of William and Mary. Let's see. Let's see. So in this case, let me see. College of William and Mary. Alrighty. Where's the location? So, Williamsburg, Virginia. So for some reason, it's not showing up in StoryMap. So, to suffice, we'll type in Williamsburg, Virginia. And there you go. There's our second location. Right there. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more clear in your StoryMap tab, you can include the location you used if you couldn't find your location in the StoryMap files already. Williamsburg, Virginia. Okay. Now let's get a picture of the college. Let's see. You can choose anyone. Let's do this one here. This one's from money.com. Again, copy the URL, paste it, click out, and our image will appear. Money.com. Close out of that. College of William and Mary. Okay, so that's our second slide. Now, let's do one final slide so we can connect all the dots together. Let's see, place of passing. Where did Thomas Jefferson pass away? Charlottesville, Virginia. Let's see, yes, Charlottesville, Virginia. Let's type that into our body text. He passed away in Charlottesville, Virginia. And now, for our final point, let's look it up. Charlottesville, Virginia. And there's our third location. Let's get a picture in here. Let's see. Let's look up a historic picture. Let's see. That's a nice one. Again, copy, paste, click out, and there's our image. And that is from travelmag.com. Always want to give appropriate credit. Charlottesville, VA. Okay, now we just made a story map. So, what we want to do throughout our story map creation is definitely save our progress and click on this here. This is our preview tab. It's going to let us go through our story map and see how it would look when we present it. So, Once we go back here to our cover page, we can still edit anything we want, and all of our information is right here, because most of everything in the story map takes place on the East Coast, but we could have points anywhere depending on our topics, all around the globe. So let's click on Preview. Here we are. Thomas Jefferson Life Highlights by Ollie RF. We got our picture of Jefferson, our caption, our source, and our map. Now we could do a couple things. We could go through our slideshow like so, start exploring, or click on individual points of our map right here. Let's click this arrow. Our first location, Shadwell, Virginia. Here's our image. Depending on the size of the image, you can scroll through it. It's got our source, our caption, and the point on the map. Our next slide. Now, as you can see, we went from Shadwell, following the red line, all the way to Williamsburg, where he received his education at the College of William and Mary. Now, depending on the size of your image, you may or may not have scroll bars, so it's always a good idea to make sure you take a look at the size of the image that you're copying and pasting, making sure it's not too small, too big, and so on. And now for our third slide. Right here, we go from Williamsburg to Charlottesville. So now we have 1 point, 2nd point, 3rd point. Here's our image of Charlottesville, our title, our source, our caption, body text, and that's our story map. You can make as many slides as you want. You can make story maps going from, say, DC to the Sahara Desert to London if you wanted to. The possibilities are endless for this software. Now, how can this be used in, say, something like a history essay? Well, this is a great program because if you want to, say, outline your information, say you're writing a history essay, this is a really neat way of putting all of your information you want in your essay in one smooth flowing system that allows you to view almost chronological information both informatively with the help of the presentation on the right side and geographically with the map on the left. It helps you keep track of both at the same time, and also you can include a story map as supplementary material for an education setting or in combination with your research and your history essay, because it, 1, concises your information, and 2, displays both pieces of your information, such as your informatory presentation and your geographical information. And it's also a great way to convey a historical argument or information, because this is a good way to almost reach more people in an audience, because of course as the world is becoming more digitized, bringing people to history or to your historical argument through the help of digital media such as story map, geography on a computer, and digital pictures online, it's going to draw a larger crowd to whatever points you're trying to make, and it's also going to help you have detailed information, professional information, and at the end, you've gotten your points across, you've made your arguments, and you've reached numerous audiences through the help of modern digital media with a beautiful flow to it. Now, what about the pros and cons of using this tool? Well, pros, definitely the system is practically flawless. I mean, it's organized, it's modern, it's sleek, it flows professionally, there's no stir-ups, there's no pauses, everything works. You can put as much information as you want, as little information as you want, and the content of your information is at your discretion. You can have purely domestic geographical information or international. I didn't have to just stick in the US. I could have gone to Africa, Russia, South America, the Middle East, Europe, anywhere. StoryMap does it all. And at the same time, if you wanted to use this for a historical essay, you could. You can include lots of information, bullet points, paragraphs, or you don't even have to have any body text. You could let the geography do the talking. Put it in your caption. Put your source, maybe even put hyperlinks for supplemental information if you want to have a really minimal story map. Now, what about cons? Well, here's an example. You need to be careful of how big your images are, because you may run into these problems where the image is so big that you actually have to scroll to see the whole thing. But when you get an image the right size, it's not an issue. Another thing is really, depending on what you're using StoryMap for, you don't really want to put too much information here. One paragraph, maybe a couple sentences, some bullet points is totally fine, but you don't want a whole essay for each slide. That kind of defeats the minimal purpose of StoryMap. But whatever gets your information across concisely, minimally, and effectively, you're going to be able to use StoryMap to your advantage for any educatory purpose that you have. So with that being said, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and best of luck creating your very own story map.